Hey guys, Brian back with you from the horror experience. Um, Put on about 10 more pounds, which is good, after being sick. Just so you know, I had a nerve injury and they put me on pain meds that actually which actually gave me pancreatitis because I was a pretty heavy drinker at the time, and which I'm not anymore, thank God. I've gotten a little more fuzzy too, which this is going to be coming off, so I just haven't shaved it. So I wanted to see what it was like to have a beard. Quite frankly, I don't care for it. It's itchy and uncomfortable, and I'm not real thrilled with it. Anyway, I just wanted to share some movies. While I'm here, some new pickups, some old stuff. I'm actually cleaning a bunch of movies right now from my humongous collection of I've got right between 3,000 and 4,000 movies, something like that. I don't even know what it is yet, but I'm cataloging right now, so hopefully I'll have a number eventually, but it's going to take a while. It may take a year, or longer. Anyway, the first one on the list is Vacancy. This was a great snuff film type movie. It's about a couple that go into a hotel or a motel actually, that's owned by a bunch of crazy people that are basically making snuff films for the black market. And when people check into the room, they go into the room and get murdered on camera. And they got cameras set up all over the room, you know. So it's pretty fun movie. Most of you probably know what this is. By the way, in case you're unaware, DVDs are going to be going out. It's going to be a long, long time. I mean, we're talking maybe 15 years, maybe longer, for the DVDs to actually phase out completely, because there's so many millions of them out there. So, but you're going to find that when you buy a Blu-ray, you're not going to get the DVD with it like you normally would. The same way that when you buy a 4K, you get the Blu-ray also. You won't get the DVD with the Blu-ray anymore. So, which means hang on to your DVDs, because they very well may become valuable as films that are on DVD, like Vacancy as an example, are no longer available. And you're finding more and more movies on Amazon that used to be on DVD are no longer on DVD. Now they're on just Blu-ray or 4K or what have you. Alright, next up is Vacancy 2. The first cut. It's been a while since I've seen this, and boy, this one's got some... in the light, you can really see the crinkles in the paper underneath the plastic. Apparently this is a prequel to the original, but honestly I don't really remember much about it. Forgive me for the light. I don't have a whole lot of light here, so I'm using primarily the television for light. I'm just running a movie on it. Hopefully I don't get any kind of a copyright infringement. I haven't yet, so... Alright, the next one also coming on DVD, which is kind of fun, is this 4 set of the very first 4 Nightmare on Elm Street films. I also have the other one with the last 4. And then of course I've got the 2010 remake by itself, which I enjoyed, and a lot of people hated that movie. And I mean, I don't blame them. I mean, I think everybody got so used to Robert Englund that when they got somebody else, it was a no-go. But I thought I thought Jackie did a good job, and they were trying to bring back the old Freddy from the first movie. They were trying to bring back that child murderer that he was originally, and New Line wanted to steer away from that because of the controversial subject matter regarding child murder, and so they decided to stick with him just being this laughy guy, jokey guy that shows up and kills people just for shits and giggles and do some one-liners and that kind of thing, and which is fine, but it got a little tiring, and I thought the creepiness of Nightmare on Elm Street after the second movie pretty much kind of went away, and it just wasn't as scary anymore. And when they did the 2010 film, I think they were trying to bring that get to the point Freddy back without all the one-liner jokes and all of that shit. Just, murder and don't say a whole lot, but get your point across, get to the point. And that's kind of what they did there. This next one, kind of hard to find now, Gutterballs. Now, as a forewarning, this movie is rough. In fact, it's one of the movies that got me into trouble on Facebook, mainly just because I was talking about it probably a little bit more than I should have, and I went into a little bit more depth about it than I probably should have, and somebody got upset about it and turned me in, and I got a 6-day ban. And I had several 6-day bans. One of them was for sharing Traces of Death, which is a documentary style, shows all real death, like Faces of Death, but this is all real, versus Faces of Death, which was a lot of reenactments. I don't remember if I've covered that on here or not. I don't think so. I covered it on Facebook, though. Anyway, Gutterballs is about a serial killer who operates in a bowling alley, and he uses bowling equipment as a weapon. There's some serious stuff in this, and you want to be really careful with this movie. It also got me in trouble with my friend's wife. They were newlyweds. They came over. I had just picked this movie up, and I was just expecting, your run-of-the-mill slasher type thing, and it turned out to be Gutterballs. And there is some scenes in this. Let me put it to you this way, that make the rape scene in Last House on the Left look like nothing. This is bad. I mean, bad. And if you like a movie that has the word fuck in it 9,000 times, then you'll love this. Gutterballs. The killer wears a bowling bag as a mask, and he kills using different bowling tools, I guess, but primarily it's a bowling pin. And everybody in this movie is an asshole. Everybody. Except for the killer. The killer doesn't really say much, but boy, everybody else is just a bunch of fuck ups, It's a horrible movie. It's a horrible movie. And just be ready. If you throw this thing in, don't throw it in front of the kids, or throw it in front of the mom, or somebody that isn't used to horror movies, or somebody who may be used to horror movies but maybe haven't gone this far. And this takes you deep into the no-go zone. And I mean, there's rape in this that lasts forever. And there's murder in this, very gory, very belligerent, annoying movie. It really is. Anyway, my friend's wife got up and left, and she said she never wanted to come back again. Basically, we had just met because they were newlyweds, and she was from Hungary. And so they met on Facebook, And so she had just arrived here. So I had met her online, but I had never actually met her in person. So when she came over and I put this in, boy, did I get an ass chewing for that. Anyway, so be careful with that. This next one, just for fun, is Lizard Man. This is a B-rated creature feature. And if you like B-rated creature features, you'll love this. This is funny. It's fun. The monster is about as dumb as it gets. Well, I've seen worse, actually, but it's pretty bad. But it is fun. And if you like good B-rated crap, then you'll love this movie. It's a blast. And it's a guilty pleasure of mine. I am a big fan of crappy, B-rated, low-budget crap. The worse, the better. However, there is a line that I do draw. If they intentionally try to be stupid, and sometimes it just doesn't work. It just gets so over the top stupid that it just doesn't work. Anyway, Lizard Man. I don't even remember what year this came out, but all right, here's Repossessed. Now these are just movies that I've dug out of my collection. It's just one row worth of movies. Actually, it's less than a row of movies that I am cleaning and checking and so on. We had somebody move in behind us here at the apartments. This is Repossessed, by the way. This is a comedy. It's kind of a spoof on The Exorcist. And of course you're going to have Leslie Nielsen in this. Really funny movie. Anyway, we had somebody move in behind us that brought roaches, and I mean bad. I don't know what it turned out. From what I understand, it turned out that they were like hoarding. They were like hoarders. And so, as you know, if you've lived in apartments, once you get roaches, it's really hard to get rid of them. Especially if people near you are not taking care of things. And anyway, we were fighting them for quite a while before I actually had somebody come in and spray. And unfortunately, some of the roaches, when they were babies, were able to get into some of these movies. And not all of them. The ones that are sealed tight like this is sealed tight. But like some of the old blockbuster movies, the cases had a hole at the bottom down here. And they were crawling in there, and then they were breeding in there and shitting and everything else. And luckily I was able to clean all of them up. There were only like maybe 10 movies out of probably 1,000 that I had in that particular closet that were infected. But luckily I was able to save everything. And what they do is they shit, and then they eat their own shit. And what happens is the roaches get big enough to where they can't get out. So they just stay in there and shit and eat their shit, and then shit and eat their shit, and it just goes on and on. In the meantime, they're in there crawling around, rubbing shit all over the discs and everything else, and it can damage the discs. And not only that, from what I understand, they can actually gnaw on the edges of the discs. But anyways, you could imagine it was quite a creep show to open up your disc and and have a bunch of fucking cockroaches crawling out. Oh, man, that was a nightmare. But luckily, those people are gone, and hopefully we don't have that problem again. Here's Vampires Los Muertos. Now, this is like the sequel to John Carpenter's Vampires, I believe, which I don't have, surprisingly. A lot of people said they didn't care for it, so I just kind of dragged my feet on it and never really did pick it up. But this one would happen to be on a shelf somewhere, and I picked it up. And honestly, I don't really remember much about it, so I can't really tell you everything. But it's a fun as far as I can remember, it's a fun little vampire film. Shakarama. I should remember this one, and I don't. I really should remember this. But for some reason, I just don't remember it. It's one of those I just haven't gotten to for a long time. I probably watched it one time when I brought it home, and then it just sat there for years, and I just never watched it again. Shakurama. And another one that's kind of right along of it is Chillerama. This was a lot of fun, actually. I kind of had fun with this. I remember the big sperm monster. I thought this was like I think this is an anthology, but that sperm monster segment was really funny. It just kept getting bigger and bigger, and boy, oh boy, was it funny. Chillerama. Definitely fun. If you like B-rated, practical effects and all of that, then you'll love this. This is actually one that I'm giving away because I have an extra of it, and that is The Town That Dreaded Sundown. Now, this is the original on Blu-ray from the 70s. It's got a little shelf wear here on the plastic, but other than that, it's a good running. It runs. I've already checked it out. Good movie based on an actual serial killer from the 50s in the Texarkana area of Arkansas, I believe. Scooby-Doo, this is the Lego Scooby-Doo Haunted Hollywood. I'm also getting rid of this one too. I have an extra of it. It's one of those that I bought two of by accident. When you get a lot of movies, it's really easy to run into something in the store. And you're running, and if you don't have your stuff cataloged like I'm doing now, which I should have done a long time ago before I got to where I am now with my collection, because now it's just like cataloging a huge collection is a time-consuming pain in the ass now, but it's got to be done. But anyway, when you're in the store and you see a movie and you're like, oh shit, I don't think I have that, and you buy it, and then you get home and you're like, oh shit, I do have it. It happens, and it's happened a lot more than you would think. I've done it especially with movies just out of confusion, just because they come by different titles. Like a lot of Italian horror movies do that. They have an American title, they have an Italian title, a Spanish title, blah blah blah, and in a different cover, and so you're assuming you're getting something new, and you're just getting the same thing. Also, Godzilla films, the classic Godzilla films, you're gonna have that problem. I don't know why I got this again. I'm a collector of Scooby-Doo, everything, just about. I've got not all the series, but I've got a lot of them. Mainly just my favorite series. And I do collect the original movies, and this does fall in line with the original movies, even though it is a Lego movie. But it is part of the original movie collection. And I have all of them, by the way. I just finished that. One of these days I'll do another episode on that, an updated episode, because I have completed that since the last video. I was short quite a few on the video that I did prior to this. Alright, next are some new arrivals. Scream 5, which I just watched. This was from 2022, I believe. Pretty decent. I liked it a lot more than I thought. I needed to complete the Scream series, or the Scream franchise, and so I just needed this and the sixth film, and so I picked those up. And I enjoyed this. Pretty good movie. Scream 5, also known as just Scream. And a lot of the original people came back. I think everybody except for drawing a blank. Here we go. Almost said Bradbury, but that's not right. Barrymore. But everybody else is there. And here's Scream 6. If you notice that I don't get anything on 4K, I do have a few 4K movies, but I am partial to 4K, and I'm real careful with what I buy on 4K. You can't go wrong with Blu-ray. Blu-ray will always improve from a DVD. But when you're trying to take Blu-ray and improve that on a 4K, sometimes you're taking a risk. Especially with older films. And that doesn't mean this wouldn't look good on 4K, because it probably does, because it's a newer movie. This came out in 2023. Scream 6. I heard a lot of good things about it. In fact, a lot of people like this one better than 5. But anyway, a lot of older movies that have gotten 4K releases suck. I mean, they just ruined it. The Evil Dead films, Evil Dead 1 and 2, both looked terrible. Halloween, on the other hand, the original from '78, looked wonderful on 4K. In fact, it looked like a whole other movie, and I really enjoyed that. It really brought everything out. But sometimes they just don't give it, they don't give it the attention it needs, and when it goes to 4K and it doesn't get the proper attention, it just looks like shit. Lord of the Rings looked terrible. All of them looked bad. So I just didn't get them. I have a friend who has them, and I saw the first one and the second Lord of the Rings, and it just looked terrible. They just didn't give it any, which was a real slap in the face to the people who worked so hard to make those movies. Peter Jackson and everybody that was behind all the work that went into that, and it just plain ass don't do anything but just throw it on 4K and just slap it on there and don't really fix anything up. Just was stupid. It was stupid. Just leave it alone. I'm fine with my DVD collections, and I have the big box sets with all the special features and everything. I don't need it on any other format. Scream 6, good movie. This one was gifted to me. This one is called Black Phone. I haven't watched it yet. Hear good things, but I don't know shit about it. Sorry. But I have opened it, but I haven't watched it yet. I haven't gotten to it. The Hunt, another one that was gifted. In fact, the person who gifted these was on Facebook, and it was getting a little bit overwhelming. Hey, I'm never going to complain when somebody gives me movies, I won't complain about it. But when there's a hidden agenda in there somewhere, I had a problem with that, and that was another reason why I got out of there. And if he's watching this, then so be it. But I just felt really uneasy about it, and I hey, I love getting movies just like just like any collector would love to get movies for nothing. But I ain't gonna. If you're just gonna give me movies for fun, then that's fine. But if there's some weird shit going on, then we got a problem there. Anyway, this was called The Hunt. I haven't seen this yet either, so I cannot tell you much about it. I'm sure you guys have seen it. From what I understand, it's good. That was the reason it was sent to me. Here's one that I bought. Attack of the Killer Donuts. I know this sounds like an absolute pile of shit, and for the most part it is, but it is funny, and it is fun. It's a lot more fun than it sounds. I mean, they've done, Attack of the Killer Couch and Killer, uh, Chaise Lounge or whatever the hell. They got Attack of Killer just about everything. They've got, Killer merry-go-round horses and carousel hair. I think carousel. And then they got killer pinatas and killer chairs and killer tables and killer everything now. But this one was really well done, and you will find this is a lot better than it sounds. The trailer is an absolute riot, and it shows you enough for you to know what you're getting yourself into, so you're not really left out in the dark. But it's fun. The acting is good. The effects are fun. It's so stupid, but it's fun. So it's one of those movies that's so bad that it's just great, and you can laugh and have a good time with it. I know it isn't for everybody, but this is a lot more fun than it sounds. It sounds like an absolute hunk of junk, but like your average B attack of, movies. Even though I have a nice handful of those, the Attack of the Couch and all that. I think there's one where a spirit gets into a hide-a-bed and attacks people. It was actually a movie that came out in the 80s, I think. It's really hard to find, actually. But it was fun, and it was funny and gory and everything else. Well, this is kind of like that. These donuts have teeth, and it had something to do with some chemical spill or something like that gets into a donut shop or contaminates the donuts. You'll have a good time with it. Here's another one that I picked up more recently. Uninvited. Being a cat lover, I love cat horror movies, even if the cat is the villain. And in this case, the cat is the villain. And a nasty one at that. Take a look at that son bitch. This movie's a lot of fun. Some people get, they're on a yacht, and they basically have this cat that is some kind of I don't know, it's some kind of a weird, what's the word I'm looking for, damn it? I'm looking for a word that would go along with X-Men, starts with an M, I know that. M as in Mary. Fuck. Oh well. Anyway, the cat isn't normal. Well, I'll put it to you that way. And he attacks everybody on this damn boat. So it looks like a lot of fun. I've heard a lot of good things about it. It is definitely a classic, so I had to have it. Here's another one that was gifted to me, Reign of Fire. Now this is more of a fantasy type thing. That's a dragon type movie. I was told the dragons in this are really great. Really super good effects. I haven't even opened this yet, so I haven't watched it yet. So I don't know anything about it other than the dragons were the best that they've ever seen. And sure as I'm sitting here, it shows up at the door again. Reign of Fire. Definitely kind of looking forward to that. Alright, and then these just happen to be in the pile. These are the Insidious films. Here's The Last Key, which was actually the fourth film. I don't remember. Did they do a fifth one? I can't remember. I've gotten behind on some stuff. I mean, I have a little bit of everything, but some movies I've gotten behind, like the VHS movies I've gotten behind on. I stopped at VHS VHS Viral, I think it was. And then there was VHS 85 and VHS 89 and VHS 90 something, 94. And so anyway, they're on my list. I don't have them in yet. But anyway, I can't remember if Insidious came out with a second one or not. Or a fifth one or not. Here's 3. I liked all the Insidious movies. I thought they were pretty good. Here's 2. All on DVD except for the 4th one is on Blu-ray. And here's the original. Alright, that sums it up. That's everything on the list. That's everything that I had here out right now. But I just wanted to mention that I will be on YouTube from now on. I am not going back to Facebook. Getting blocked 4 times on there or getting banned on there 4 times, that's enough. I've had enough. And then plus I was getting just stalked to death. And look at me. Do I look like somebody who would be stalked? I don't get it, you know. You know? Oh well. Maybe I should be flattered, I don't know, but I'm not. It actually bothers me. I don't like people enough to where... It's one of the reasons why I enjoyed social media, is when you're done with them, you can shut them off. And that's another thing I didn't like was Messenger. It's like you have to have Messenger in order to be on Facebook, and even if your green light is off, they still message you, you know, and people just don't get it, you know. It's like, if my light is off, I don't want to hear about it, you know. I don't need my fucking dinghy going off every 5 fucking minutes to tell me, you know, about you wiggling your fucking toes or whatever. I don't need to hear about it. I don't need to know, you know. That was the old days when Facebook first started. Everybody talked about every little fucking thing they did, you know. Oh, I'm getting ready for bed. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. I'm fluffing my pillow. You know, sitting on the pot, you know. I don't need to hear every little movement, you know. It's just stupid, you know. That kind of shit irritates me, and you know. Besides, I really wasn't on Facebook to make a bunch of buddies, and I think that's probably the reason why I like YouTube. It's more distant. You know, you're doing it on your own channel. If people want to comment on something, comment on it. That doesn't mean I'm your pal or that I have to hear about you, or, you know, unless I give you my phone number or something like that, you're not going to text me or message anything or say anything other than on the comment section, you know. And you have complete control over that. Although, I will have to say, Facebook had some really cool features as far as their shorts and their video stuff. You can add music and do all kinds of things to it. Where on here, you don't have as many options, which is surprising because this is strictly for videos. You'd think that they would have a lot more options available, and they really don't, unless you got a computer or you pay for some app or something like that so that you can do all kinds of fancy shit, you know. Well, I don't have all of that on here, so anyway, I just do things, you know, unless it's a short. The shorts you can do a little bit more. You can do wallpapers and add music and all that crap. But when you're doing a video, you can't really do much. Alright, guys. Well, until I do the next one, I'll have another pile for you in a little while. And probably tomorrow. And I'll do another video. Alright, guys. Happy Thursday night, Friday morning, whatever it is. The week is over. We're almost over. We're heading into the weekend, which doesn't matter to me because I'm still off work. That's another thing. I was off work because of an injury, and then while I was off work because of an injury, the company went bankrupt, and which apparently had been in the works for quite some time, or it had been known about for a long time. They were a big company that did a merge, and when they merged, they inherited a bunch of debt. And when they inherited that debt, they just got into financial trouble, and it just, everybody got laid off. They shut everything down. It was a mess. Anyway, so now I don't have anything, but that's fine. Still got my benefits kicking in. And I'm still not on my feet anyway, so completely. Alright, guys, we'll talk at you on the next one. Later.